The security camera footage showed exactly what I expected. My family's 3 cars crawling up my snow-covered driveway, their headlights barely cutting through the thickening blizzard. I sat in my study, sipping hot chocolate, watching them approach my hidden sanctuary, the Evergreen Manor. 5 years ago, they'd made it clear I wasn't worth their time. My crime? Refusing to sell my late grandmother's antique locket to fund my younger sister Emma's destination wedding. That locket was the last piece I had of the only family member who truly loved me, but they couldn't understand that. Always the difficult one, aren't you, Sarah? My mother had sneered. The final straw came during Christmas 2020. I'd arrived at their house, presents in hand, only to find they changed the time of the gathering without telling me. Through the window, I watched them laughing, sharing meals, and exchanging gifts. That night, I promised myself I'd never let them hurt me again. My grandmother had left me more than just the locket. There was a substantial inheritance I kept secret, enough to purchase and restore this magnificent 19th century manor in the countryside. While they thought I was struggling in a tiny apartment, I'd spent 3 years transforming this place into a luxury bed and breakfast, operating under a business name they'd never connect to me. Now, watching them approach, I straightened my emerald green sweater and checked my reflection. At 32, I looked different from the insecure woman they'd last seen. Success had given me confidence and peace had given me strength. The doorbell echoed through the manor. I took my time walking to the grand entrance, my heels clicking on the marble floor. Through the frosted glass, I could see their huddled shapes: Mom, Dad, Emma, her husband Tom, and their kids. I opened the door, letting the winter wind swirl around us. Their expressions shifted from desperate relief to shocked disbelief. "Sarah?" My mother gasped, her perfectly made-up face paling. "Welcome to Evergreen Manor," I said smoothly, stepping aside. "Please come in before you freeze." They shuffled in, tracking snow onto my imported carpets. Emma's twins, now 7, stared wide-eyed at the crystal chandelier and towering Christmas tree in the foyer. My father, usually so composed, couldn't stop gaping at the grand staircase. You work here?" Emma finally asked, clutching her designer handbag. I smiled, enjoying the moment. "Actually, I own it. All 15 acres, including the lake you passed on your way in." I gestured to the sitting room. "Please, make yourselves comfortable. I'll have hot chocolate brought in." "This is impossible," my mother muttered, following me. "How could you afford this?" "Grandmother believed in me," I said simply. "She left me more than just the locket you wanted me to sell." The sitting room, with its roaring fireplace and plush velvet furniture, showcased my success perfectly. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, the snow had become a white wall. My mother sank into a chair, still processing. Dad stood by the fire, warming his hands, looking anywhere but at me. "The roads are completely blocked," Tom said, checking his phone. "The storm's supposed to last until morning." "How fortunate that you found shelter," I replied, pressing a discreet button to summon Maria, my housekeeper. "We have plenty of room." Emma's twins had discovered the Christmas tree's train set circling its base. Their delight made me smile. They, at least, were innocent in all this. "Your usual accommodation fell through?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "I bought that property last month specifically to close it for renovations during Christmas." "The Pine Lodge closed unexpectedly," my father admitted. "We were trying to find our way back to the highway when we saw your lights." Maria appeared with a tray of hot chocolate and cookies. The twins' faces lit up at the marshmallow top drinks, making Emma finally crack a genuine smile. "Sarah," she said softly, "this place is beautiful." For a moment, I saw my little sister again, not the woman who had helped exclude me from family gatherings. "Thank you," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. As they warmed up and the initial shock wore off, questions began pouring out. How long had I owned this place? Why didn't I tell them? Was I running it alone? I answered selectively, maintaining my composure. Let them wonder. Let them realize what they'd missed by shutting me out. "I'll have Maria prepare rooms for everyone," I announced, standing. "The East Wing has the best views of the snow." My mother finally found her voice. "Sarah, we should talk." I paused at the doorway, turning back to face my family. 5 years of holiday cards returned unopened. 5 years of blocked calls and ignored messages. 5 years of healing and building my own life. "Yes," I agreed, my hand resting on the doorframe. "We should. But not tonight. Tonight you're my guests, and it's Christmas Eve. Let's start there. As I left the room, I heard the twins exclaim over finding more presents under the tree. Gifts I'd wrapped just in case this moment ever came. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be cold. Sometimes it just needs to be served with a side of hot chocolate and a chance at redemption. What they didn't know was that this was just the beginning of their Christmas surprise. The grandfather clock in the hall struck 9 as I finished my evening rounds. My family had settled into their rooms, each one strategically chosen. The twins were delighted with their room's hidden playroom, while Emma and Tom got the suite overlooking the frozen lake. My parents were given the room next to the library, the one with all the family photos they'd never seen. I stood in that library now, touching the frames that documented my journey. Photos of me purchasing the manor, restoration work, the grand opening. But most importantly, pictures of me with grandmother in this very house when I was young. This manor had been her childhood home, sold decades ago when her family fell on hard times. Buying it back had been my secret mission. A soft knock interrupted my thoughts. Emma stood in the doorway, wearing the plush robe I'd left in her room. "Can't sleep?" I asked, not turning around. "How could I?" She stepped inside, her eyes scanning the photos. "Sarah, is that Grandma's old house? The one she used to tell us stories about?" "The very same." I finally faced her. Grandmother left me the means to buy it back. She knew I was the only one who remembered every story she told about this place. Emma's hand trembled as she touched a photo of the library from the 1950s. The secret door, behind the blue bookcase. Is it still? Still there. I moved to the antique bookcase and pressed a hidden lever. The panel swung open silently, revealing a small reading nook with a window seat. "We used to hide you during summer visits," Emma whispered, tears in her eyes, "before they sold it. And now it's back in the family." I watched her process this information. "Though according to all of you, I'm not really family anymore, am I?" She flinched. "Sarah, about that. These past 5 years were educational," I finished. "I learned who I am without trying to meet impossible expectations." The door opened again, and my mother entered, looking smaller in her borrowed nightgown than I'd ever seen her. "I heard voices," she said, then stopped short at the sight of the photos. "Oh my God." "Hello, Mother." Recognizing the house now. She moved closer to the wall, her hand covering her mouth. "Your grandmother's home." "But how? Why didn't you tell us?" "Would you have cared?" I kept my voice level. "You were too busy with Emma's perfect life to notice mine." "That's not fair," my mother started, but Emma interrupted. "Yes, it is, Mom. We were horrible to her. Over a locket of all things." Emma turned to me. "I was so caught up in my wedding, in what I wanted. I never even asked why that locket meant so much to you." I pulled the locket from under my sweater. "Grandmother gave me this the last time we visited this house together. She told me about growing up here, about the secrets and love these walls held. She made me promise to never let anyone take my dreams away." I opened the locket, showing them the tiny key inside. "This opens her old jewelry box, which is still hidden in this house. I found it during renovations." My mother sat heavily in a leather armchair. "She always said you were the most like her. Strong-willed, independent." "Difficult?" I suggested with a raised eyebrow. "Special," she corrected, surprising me. "I was jealous of your relationship with her. And then after she died, when you wouldn't give up that locket, I let that jealousy poison everything." A log shifted in the fireplace, sending sparks up the chimney. Outside, the snow continued falling, coating the world in silence. "The twins found more presents under the tree," Emma said softly. "Did you? Have you been buying them gifts every year?" I nodded. "They're innocent in all this. I have a whole room of 5 years' worth of presents for them." I kept hoping that we'd find our way back to you, my mother finished. "That you'd want to," I corrected. Emma wiped her eyes. "Do you remember what Grandma used to say about this house at Christmas? 'Magic lives in these walls.'" We all quoted together, then shared a surprised laugh. "She also said something else," I added. "That true family finds its way home, no matter how lost they've been." My mother stood up, smoothing her nightgown with shaking hands. "Are we too lost, Sarah?" I thought about the years of pain, but also about the secret hope that had made me prepare those rooms, wrap those presents, and keep my door unlocked on this snowy night. "That depends," I said carefully. "Are you ready to find your way back?" Emma reached for my hand, and after a moment's hesitation, I let her take it. My mother stepped closer, her eyes on the locket. Maybe, I said. It's time I showed you what's in grandmother's jewelry box. She left something for each of us, you know. I've been keeping them safe, waiting for the right moment. As I led them up the hidden staircase to the attic, I realized that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's creating a space where healing can begin, even if that space takes 5 years and a snowstorm to find. But the night wasn't over yet, and the biggest surprise was still to come. Dawn broke over Evergreen Manor, painting the snow-covered grounds in shades of pink and gold. I'd been awake for hours, making final preparations in the grand dining room. The table was set with my grandmother's china, each place setting perfect, just as she taught me. The jewelry box sat at the center of the table, its ornate wooden surface catching the morning light. I'd retrieved it from the attic last night after Emma and Mom had returned to their rooms. Some revelations were meant for the whole family. The twins were first to appear, still in their pajamas, eyes wide at the sight of the breakfast spread. Behind them, Emma and Tom entered, followed by my parents. They all hesitated at the doorway, as if unsure of their welcome. "Merry Christmas," I said, gesturing to the table. "Please sit." As they settled into their seats, I picked up the jewelry box. "Before we eat, I think it's time for grandmother's final gifts." My father spoke for the first time since arriving. "Sarah, we don't deserve." "This isn't about deserving," I interrupted gently. "This is about fulfilling her wishes." I inserted the tiny key from my locket, and the box opened with a soft click. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lay 5 envelopes and several small boxes. I distributed them, saving mine for last. The twins received matching silver bracelets with their birthstones, though they'd been born years after grandmother's passing. "How did she?" Emma wondered, helping her daughters put on their bracelets. "She knew you'd have children someday. She bought these before she died, trusting they'd find their way to the right people at the right time." My mother's hands shook as she opened her envelope. A delicate sapphire ring fell into her palm, along with a letter. "This was her mother's ring," she whispered. "I always admired it." Dad received her father's pocket watch and a letter that made him turn away, wiping his eyes. Emma found a pearl necklace she'd played with as a child, accompanied by words that made her cry. Finally, I opened my envelope. Inside was a deed and a letter I'd read countless times over the years, but this time I read it aloud. "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this with our family present, then you've done exactly what I knew you would. You've brought them home. Not just to this house, but to each other. The deed enclosed is to Evergreen Manor. I couldn't bear to see it sold to strangers all those years ago, so I bought it back secretly, waiting for the right moment, the right person, to restore it to its former glory. That person is you, my darling girl. But a home is nothing without family to fill it. Even when they hurt us, even when they lose their way, family is worth fighting for. Your strength isn't just in standing alone. It's in knowing when to open the door and let love back in. The manor is yours, but my final wish is that you'll make it a home for all of you again. All my love, Grandmother." Silence fell over the table, broken only by the twins' quiet munching of toast. My mother reached across the table, taking my hand. "We were so wrong," she said softly. "All these years, we thought you were being stubborn about the locket, but you were protecting something far more precious. You were protecting her legacy," my father added, "while we were too blind to see it." Emma stood up, walking to the window. "Remember how we used to spend every Christmas here as kids? The snowball fights, the sledding down that hill. The hot chocolate competitions," I added, smiling at the memory. "Grandmother always let us win." "Sarah," my mother said, squeezing my hand. Would it be possible to make new memories here?" I looked around the table at my family, broken, healing, hoping. "That's why I bought all those presents," I admitted. "Every year, I kept thinking, maybe this Christmas." "Can we open them now?" the twins chorused, making everyone laugh. "Soon," I promised. "But first, I have one more surprise." I pulled out a stack of papers from a drawer. "I've been working on getting the manor registered as a historic landmark, but with a special provision. It will always be a family home first, open to all of us." My father stood, pulling me into an unexpected hug. "You're remarkable, you know that? Just like her." As we moved to the living room for presents, the snow began falling again, soft and gentle. The twins raced to the window, pressing their faces against the glass. "Look," they shouted. Perfect sledding weather. Emma linked her arm through mine. Think you could teach them the secret route down the hill, the one Grandma showed us? Only if their parents join us, I replied, watching my mother already planning how to arrange hot chocolate for our return. Standing there, watching my family unwrap 5 years' worth of carefully chosen gifts, I realized Grandmother had been right. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's having the strength to keep a door open, even when it hurts. It's believing in the magic of second chances and the power of coming home. As the twins pulled everyone toward the door for sledding, their excitement infectious, I touched my locket and whispered, "Thank you, Grandmother." They finally found their way back. And in the joyful chaos that followed, Evergreen Manor once again became what it was always meant to be, a home where family could heal,